Hi, it's Steve from Thor Motor Coach inside our Plant 850, where we build some of the most recognizable RVs on the road, like the Outlaw Class A toy hauler, along with the biggest, baddest Super C at the RV resort, the Inception. It's also where we build the all-new Class A diesel pusher, Riviera. We're talking with John Kreider, Vice President of Product Development, about the all-new Riviera. So John, let's talk about where the Riviera falls into the hierarchy of the Thor Motor Coach lineup and where it falls into the marketplace.
Sure. So Steve, we came out with the Riviera as kind of a gap that's open right now between the Palazzo and the Aria. So we really thought that, there was really three things that we went for coming out with the Riviera. We were looking at affordability, we were looking at fashion, and we were looking at function. So kind of those three are what got us here. And so we've had a lot of success with the Palazzo, we've had a lot of success with the Aria, but we know that things have gotten more expensive over the last couple of years. And so we thought from an affordability standpoint, we really needed to offer something to the consumers that had that more modern feel when it comes to diesel pushers, the front door, the big basement storage. But we put it on a chassis that is the 340 horsepower engine with 700 pound-feet of torque. And I think the real key there is that we've put it in that sweet spot where you get all the upgrade features, but with the engine horsepower and torque, you're getting everything you need to move the coach down the road. And let's face it, 340 horsepower is more than enough to get you up to 75 miles an hour. I don't think anybody's looking to go 100 miles an hour in their motorhome.
I would certainly hope not.
Maybe you.
Maybe me.
Maybe when you drive, there's 100.
Not that I've ever hit the speed limiter in anything that we make.
Well, that's good.
You got to be safe out there, and that's one of the things that we've incorporated into the Riviera is a little bit of safety. So let's talk about the driving. We've talked about the engine and the horsepower and the towing, but we also have blind spot monitoring, which I think on a coach of this size is incredibly beneficial.
Well, it is the first time we've offered this, right? So, we've had experience with other products in the market that we've seen that have done this. And let's face it, you go out and buy a $25,000 car today and you get blind spot monitoring, you get some of those safety things. So, we've partnered with Velvac. And the reason we've used Velvac is because obviously they've been in the business a long time. They have some expertise in it. Their camera technology is fantastic. And it's all built into the cameras that are on your side mirrors. So it's, completely kind of behind the scenes, but it has the light up indicator in your mirror, just like you'd have on your automobile. The experience is going to look and feel the same.
Well, let's talk about some places inside and outside where we step things up, because we'll start with one of the things I think is a great feature, especially on a motorhome of this size, when you're going to go out camping or you're going to stay at the RV resort a little longer, is having a retractable 50 amp power cord, because those get big, they get heavy, and as we get older, they get a little more challenging to drag around.
Yeah, and that's probably been one of our biggest requests. Yeah. Anything that we make, when you start looking at that 25 or 30 foot power cord, you start thinking about dragging it out across everything, plugging it in at the campground, or if you're just trying to get it rolled back up. I mean, probably getting it out is probably the easy part. It's when it's cold outside and the cable doesn't want to bend on you to actually go back in place. Having this power cord reel, you hit the button, use your hand to guide it, and boom, it's back in. So it really saves time, but it also saves you from getting down on the ground, having to lift something up. So for some of us that have maybe a little more tender backs, no longer lifting up this 25 or 30 pound cord trying to stuff it into your basement compartment.
So the video we're going to show you right now, we are in Northwest Indiana. It's winter time when we shot this video. It's snowy, it's cold, but that doesn't mean you can't use your Riviera in the wintertime, because we have some features in here such as heated tanks. Yep. We have heat pumps. So talk about some of the cold weather camping things people will get, because people think, oh, I'm going to go out on the Riviera, and you think warm in the desert, but you can use this all year.
Yeah, I mean, the basement storage compartment went down into the wet bays and everything is completely heated, right? And then as far as heat pumps go, we do have a 15,000 BTU air conditioner on top that includes a heat pump. So the great thing about that is in your cooler weather. And of course, 10 below, you're not going to be using the heat pump. That's your furnace. But when it's 40 degrees or above and you just want to take that chill off, you can turn on that heat pump, pump some warm air into the coach. And of course, depending on your floor plan, like this one right behind us, it's got a fireplace.
Yeah.
So now you can pair that fireplace with your heat pump. You can get some, good heat inside the coach, but you're not running the furnace. So you're not using the LP that's on the coach. And you're just taking off that chill in the morning time.
We talked a little bit about the heated basement. The other thing we want to touch on is how big these bays are, because storage makes or breaks an RV. And it's true, because these bays are massive.
Yeah, and even though this is on a straight rail chassis, we really found a way to maximize the space above the rail and below the rail. Just like on our bigger diesels, if you look at our Aria, you're going to see that we're using the storage compartments are insulated storage compartments. They're white. They're easy to clean. The great thing about it being white is they actually make it a little bit brighter in there. So when you go in there in the nighttime and you turn on your lights, you're going to be able to see things easier. But they're all sealed from the outside, and it's a composite material that we're using in there. So it's very lightweight, but it's also very strong. And then when you take that in combination with our Atlas foundation, which actually supports everything, not only does it support the house that's up on top, but it also supports everything that you want to put in there. So your fishing poles, your kayaks, your rock collection, your toolbox, all that can fit down here. And with the big storage doors that we have on the side, that is kind of your step when you go from a Palazzo and the structure changes. And of course, there's a little more price in the Riviera, even keeping it affordable. But you get a few things as you move up, but you're not moving up to such a high price point that it just becomes unreachable for a lot of people. So really looking at that.
And we have aluminum slam latch doors. So we
do.
covered the doors here, but we want to talk about the entry door because this is something new, first for us here in our diesel lineup.
Yeah, so I mean, we've gone to PTL, and we started working with PTL about 6-8 months ago, and we had good entry doors in the past, but we thought that there were some opportunities to do some things different. The design's a little bit different. It's not necessarily just a rectangular door anymore, so that kind of plays into the way the A-pillar works out. It also works really well with our new electric entry step. So the entry step is very simple. It's an electric motor. It rolls out. It rolls in. It's really nice too because it's got a carpeted mat on top of it, and it's that indoor-outdoor type carpet that you can take off, pull it out, shake it out, get all the sand and everything out, put it right back on. And then if you want a color change, you can always change the color and put something else on there. So you're not locked into just whatever we put in there in the first place. And it's really great when you put it out when you're driving because then your feet don't dangle down into the hole.
And once we walk up, we are into the interior, and the design, the color, the layout, everything in this really fits into a lifestyle, whether you're going to be full-time and whether you're going to be out there doing long weekends or even taking friends and family along with you.
Yeah, we try to put things in there just for that, right? We don't exactly know what every customer is going to do. So some of the things we did is, the dash radio has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, right? It's a big 10-inch screen, so you get good visibility when you're backing up, with your side cameras, whatever. You have steering wheel controls, so you can control the audio functions. So those are the things that are out there. You've got luxury vinyl tile on the floor. You put that luxury vinyl tile in there, and it looks and feels like tile, but it gives you, it's not as cold. It gives you that look and feel that you're looking for. And then, of course, if you look inside, it's very fashionable. That was the other thing, too. We have a group of women designers that put these units together. And I think that is a key for Thor Motor Coach is that we're taking the design eye of our females who, in a lot of cases, make a lot of buying decisions on the inside of the vehicle. And so taking that and bringing that in and looking at the most modern things. So we're going to the kitchen and bath show. We're going to the home shows. We're doing all those things, and we're finding that information, and we're putting it into the motorhome. So when people walk in, they don't feel like it's 1976 again. They feel like, okay, this is where I live. This is what it looks like. This is what an apartment might look like, or my home looks like.
In the end, what we want to do is we want people to feel like they can escape without ever leaving home. And I think that's the design behind the Riviera.
Yeah, and the other good thing about the Riviera is it's really set up as we're thinking through things as who's going to use it, because it's not always the same people. So, I mean, we see a lot of couples, right? Diesel RVs a lot of times run by couples, and then they'll have kids over or grandkids or friends over. And the great thing about this is, every Riviera is going to come with a drop-down overhead bunk, and we're using that Project 2000 bunk, which is really smooth. But the key with that is that bunk can go up and down, and when it's up, it's out of the way, completely out of there. When the bed is down, you still have complete use of the kitchen, the living room. And yeah, you might wake the people in the bed up, all right? But it still gives people the ability to go out and, get a snack or, turn the TV on to watch the news first thing in the morning. So it really gives you that. And then if you do have even more people, obviously the furniture converts too. But why convert something to furniture when you push a button and make your bed up?
You mentioned traveling with kids or, in the wintertime like it is now. People aren't going to always want to be outside or on the road. They're going to watch TV. We have inside TVs, outside TVs, and we've upped the tech with a little Cat 6. So explain what that is in the benefits of going that instead of like an HDMI.
So this year, starting with the Riviera, we've moved a lot of our product to Cat 6 cabling. And that's your computer Ethernet cable, like you plug your computer into your wall at home. And so we've got some transmitters and receivers that are inside the vehicle. So now it's one wire that carries power that plugs into a transmitter, and then you have an output on it, and you can make your satellite receiver go into it, or you could have your Roku or your Apple TV go into it, and then you can transmit that out to another TV.
And in the 38RB may not be the exact floor plan you need to fit what you're doing, but there's more than one Riviera floor plan.
Correct. So we've got the RB right now, and then we'll be coming out with 2 additional floor plans in the very near future. We have that ability coming, and of course, it won't just be a one-trick pony when it comes to this motorhome.
From the gorgeous and well-equipped living spaces to an amazing feature-rich driving experience, there is a lot to love about the Riviera. So why not explore more at thormotorcoach.com.